How you going, guys? I just got off of a 30-day post block for essentially sharing a post and stating a fact, but that's another story. The reason I'm making this video is because I wanted to tell you all that today I was unlawfully detained by the Victoria Police. So, a bit of background. Some of you may have seen on the news today that a lot of members of the African community, as well as various leftist groups, congregated outside of the Channel 7 headquarters in Docklands in Melbourne. And they were rallying against what they called a campaign, a hateful, racist campaign by Channel 7, which vilifies and marginalises the African community, in particular the Sudanese. No mention of the spiralling crime wave, which is literally impacting many, thousands of families across Melbourne and Victoria, and across Australia, actually, but particularly in Victoria. But anyway, I was standing opposite the protest. I was standing on the other side of the road, not even within 50 metres, and there were a couple of other right-wingers there as well. The police recognised us and came straight up to us, did not even ask us to move on, didn't ask what we were doing there, just said, "You are being detained for breach of the peace." Breach of the peace. Those words again. And so I asked him, I said, well, what warrants that? How am I breaching the peace? And he said, by being in the area. No other explanation. And I said, but that doesn't make sense. I'm just standing here. There's a family right here. Is the baby in that pram breaching the peace too? And he said, shut your mouth. I'm not going to argue with you. You are being detained. So they chucked me in the paddy wagon, along with a couple of others, and took me across the city to Spring Street outside Parliament. Took down my details, and I asked the officer taking my details down, am I being charged? And he said, not at this point in time. I doubt they'll find anything to charge me with since I was not breaking the law. But I think this goes to show that our freedoms are being impeded on. Not only our freedom of speech. I had my hands in my pockets. I was not saying a word. I was observing. My freedom to move about as I like. My freedom to congregate on the streets opposite a protest. I was not interrupting anything. I was not breaching the peace. I was not inciting violence. But the Victorian police seem to have this witch hunt against conservatives, against people who oppose the current status quo, who oppose the absurdity that is the left, that oppose the left's victimhood narratives, that oppose the people congregating on the streets, saying that they care about the welfare of the African community, but failing to address all of the issues which are actually having a serious impact. The lack of education, the high rates of crime, the low rates of unemployment. But no, all they seem to care about is alleged racism. And that is why there is so much division in this country. So, share it around and keep your common sense.